two questions for you. As you are going over your reforms and what you think is needed, does the president feel that there is systemic racism in law enforcement?
The president's been very clear there are injustices in society. I've noted several for you that he's pointed out as a Republican primary candidate, noting the Sandra Bland video was absolutely horrible, noting George Floyd. There's a civil rights investigation into that. He definitely believes there are instances of racism, but look, he believes our law enforcement are the best in the world. He believes that by and large they are good people. The 750 who were injured defending this country from rioters and Antifa in the streets, as to be distinguished from the peaceful protesters, those 750 officers who were hurt defending our country were heroes, as was David Dorn, a police officer who lost his life, and Patrick Underwood, who also lost his life in the last week or so.
He doesn't think that there is systemic racism in law enforcement.
He believes most of our police officers are good, hardworking people, and there's a lot of evidence of that, and he has great faith in our police.
After all of this civil unrest, why does the White House not have a plan? The president said on Friday that his plan for combating racism is a strong economy. How does that work?
Look, that's an important part of combating racism is making sure that there's equal opportunity for Black Americans in this country. This president, we hear a lot of words from Democrats about criminal justice reform, that they wanted this. Well, they got it with President Trump reducing racial sentencing disparities via the First Step Act. Democrats talk about economic opportunity for Black Americans and people in vulnerable communities, and this president has done that with opportunity zones. It was a good start, more than 900 places, creating private investment to help people get on their feet to start businesses in this country. HBCUs, record funding. This president has repeatedly, through his actions, stood up for the Black community, and a big piece of that is absolutely economic reform. And I'd finally note on the point of economic reform, the USMCA, these trade deals, the TPP, making sure that didn't take place, that directly advantaged hardworking men and women in Detroit who wanted their auto jobs. So his reformation with trade, and also opportunity zones, is helping to ensure that Americans of all races have
Is
the
there
same.
a week after what we saw in Lafayette Park last Monday night, are there any people here in this building who believe that, or does the president believe that perhaps things went the way they shouldn't have gone? Is there any regret on the part of the president or anyone here about how people were treated, people who were peacefully protesting, and how they were rushed out so violently?
No, there's no regrets on the part of this White House because, look, I'd note that many of those decisions were not made here within the White House. It was AG Barr who made the decision to move the perimeter. Monday night, Park Police also had made that decision independently when they saw all of the violence in Lafayette Square. And before these protesters were moved by Park Police and they issued that tactical order, there were 3 loud warnings. And as I believe it was AG Barr on Face the Nation noted, that some of those protesters moved back and adhered to the warning, but others of those protesters started hurling objects, and that was unacceptable. And Park Police acted as they felt they needed to at that time in response, and we stand by those actions.
The country and the world saw this violent clash between people who were otherwise peacefully protesting, but really the president is not sorry for the way things went?
No, the president is sorry about the fact that Antifa wreaked havoc in our streets and the failure of some members of the media to note that. Like CNN's Chris Cuomo said, show me where it says protesters are supposed to be peaceful. Well, I'd point him to the First Amendment where it says that you have the right to, quote, peaceably assemble. He should go back and read the Constitution. There are many others out there, like Don Lemon, saying that rioting is a mechanism to restructure our country. Burning down St. John's, using a pick to literally carve out, as we saw in that video, concrete from the sidewalk to hurl at officers, that's not peacefully protesting. The actions of the rioters were not in keeping with the First Amendment. And I think the media needs to recognize there's a discernment between the peaceful protesters, many of whom I've seen, and the rioters. And yes, America will act against rioters. And yes, under President Trump, he will not allow burning buildings, 150 federal buildings to be defaced, and 750 law enforcement officers to be injured in our country.